us all the time. Yet, all of us, we're totally convinced that tomorrow morning we'll be sitting here. Isn't it? We're totally convinced you might have seen your bed, you're already dreaming about your bed, and you're totally convinced that you're going to arrive in your bed. Is that realistic? 99.999% maybe yes. But what about the 0.0001%? Heart attack, house collapses, somebody crazy coming with a gun or with a bomb. You know, somebody kind of driving in totally drunk and, you know, hitting you, falling down the stairs, electrocuted, so many things. Maybe a nut allergy and you didn't know that there were nuts somewhere. You know, this is what I mean. So this seems unrealistic. This is why we're so shocked. Can you imagine the state of this group if one of us tomorrow morning is dead? I'm really sorry that it hasn't happened yet. Because, you know, I mean, we think it's, yeah, okay, yeah, we can die, it's absolutely no problem. But when it happens, I tell you, this course would stop. We wouldn't just continue. Call somebody, can you come and collect the corpse, please? Where's the relatives? Okay, well, we didn't know the person anyway. Okay, goodbye. We wouldn't do like this. We'd be in total aftershock. We wouldn't be able to continue. You wouldn't be able to listen to me. You will go like, what is she going on about? Somebody died. As if this is the most unnormal thing in the world. Because we have decided that none of us is going to die. Yeah? So when we become aware of that, then we say, hey, if I want to do something, I need to do this now. Then we start also to work with the negative emotions. Not just for next life, of course also. But you will have a happier life now, and also at the time of death, when you have learned, while your mind is still more or less okay, how to deal in a skillful way with negative emotions, your death will not be so difficult, because we will have to go anyway. Death is not a failure to an enemy. But I can see also in this country, because you're such survivors, you know, that for you, death is kind of giving in to an enemy. The Nazis, then coming here, and then your neighbors who started the war immediately, and still going on, you know, still going on, and this and that. So it's this having to fight for life, which then continues until old age. And then it seems to me sometimes, when I look, not only here, also other places, but especially here, death seems to be such a terrible thing. Dying is such a failure, because you were not able to fight off the enemy, so you have to die. It's natural. It's a natural law. We all have to die. Without the Nazis, without the Palestinians, without the terrorists, nature, we will have to die. Yeah? So then we try to make our life meaningful when we become aware of it. So this is why death in Buddhism also, we take it out of the closet. And we think about this every day. This could be my last day. How do I want to spend it? You go to sleep. In the morning sometimes I think about it. Evening, I forget. But in the evening one is supposed to think, one day less in my life where I have time to do what I want to do. Yeah. And if one, I'm sure, because I'm also not doing it, this is why also I waste my time very often. And I'm sure if one does it only for a few months, every day, during the day, what do I want to do? And this is chapter 5, by the way. This is what we're going to do. Yeah? I wish people would ask me more to just teach on Bodhisattva, because it keeps me on the track. If you would do it, we could all die without regret. Totally. Yeah? Bringing our stuff in order, living the life we want to live. So, it doesn't mean a meaningful life is only a life when you want to attain enlightenment. A meaningful life can be that you earned a lot of money and you spent it all and you were very happy. The meaningful life is what for you is meaningful, not what somebody else is telling you. If somebody wants to have a life where they have the most pleasure, by all means, why not? if it makes them fulfilled. My parents were like this. Both of them born very poor. Both of them wanted comfort and money and all this. They both had it. Dad earned it, but he hadn't learned to spend it because he was born poor. He couldn't spend the money that he had. Mom, she knew how to spend it. So very good couple. He earned it, she spent it. Both of them died very happily. Because that was, not to die poor. Okay. It's not harmful. It's not harmful. They didn't harm anybody with this. They kept the economy up. Yeah. Okay. So this is the basis, looking after yourself, knowing yourself, working with your own negative emotion, and then starting to reach out to others. Yeah? It's very necessary. You also say, hey, I want to get out of samsara as quickly as possible, and then saying, not just me, but also others. Yeah? So the first chapter is talking about the benefit, and as I'm saying, we'll not go into it because we're chapter 5, but you're very welcome to read it, because they're not. You don't have to read the commentary, just read the verses. Everybody has a text, by the way. Everybody has their own text. Look at it. Okay, great. So you can take it to your room and look at it. Then, because this is so difficult, chapter 2 and 3, they are how to create the conditions so that we're able to develop this mind. Yeah? And so we go more tomorrow in the morning session a bit exactly how that's being done, because I see you getting tired. So that chapter 2 and 3. So may the jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise, 2 and 3, and grow. Then chapter 4 and 5, may that which has arisen not diminish, 4, 5, and 6, but increase forevermore, 7 and 8. Yeah. So actually in this, may the Supreme Jewel Bodhicitta that has not arisen, may this mind of wanting to be happy, let's say like this, may this mind of wanting to be happy that has not arisen, may it arise, chapter 1, 2 and 3, may that which has arisen, may it not decline, 4, 5 and 6, but increase forevermore, 7 and 8. So chapter 5 is especially about how to keep us on the track. So it's quite long, it has a lot of verses, but it's quite easy actually, I think. Because it's just instructions what to do. How to keep the body, how to keep the speech, and how to keep the mind. How to develop, how to recognize negative states of mind, how to avoid them, and how to develop positive states of mind. And when we talk about the perfection of discipline, ethical discipline, is not just the ethical discipline like in the founder vehicle, which is just abstaining from negative actions. The ethical discipline of a Bodhisattva has 3 parts, meaning abstaining from negative actions, creating virtue, and then benefiting others. And here they really mean benefiting others now, not on your cushion, when you go out. And the first benefit you can do to somebody very easy, you smile at them. So see, these verses are very simple. For example, it says, when you meet somebody, smile at them. What? They want me to smile? Yeah. This is one of the instructions in the 5th chapter. Whomever you meet, speak gently, smile at them. It even says, when you move chairs, move them without noise. Simple stuff like this. Why? Because it's called, chapter 4 is called conscientiousness, and chapter 5 I think it's called awareness. Sometimes it's different, different translations. So, how to keep the mindfulness, what we want, and how to develop and keep the awareness to kind of keep us on this path. Yeah. So chapter 4 and 5 are really great. Yeah. I mean, all of them are really great. Also, this text is probably Shantideva was an Indian Pandit. He wasn't a Tibetan, but he's very, very present from the 8th century. I mean, really old, a really, really old text. When I was given this book, it wasn't that one, it was just the verses by somebody. I wasn't a Buddhist. And I just started, and I thought, what should I do with such an old text? How is that going to be relevant? And then I was traveling around in India, and I didn't have anything to read. And I started reading it, and when I was at the 6th chapter, I thought, shit, we're still behaving the same way as they behaved in the 8th, and I'm still having the same problems. Not being mindful, doing this, being grumpy, judging people, getting angry at small things like this. I thought, wow, that nothing has changed yet. So it's a very, very, it's a manual, it's a handbook. It's not a study book in a way, it's great if you know the verses by heart, but it's to be taken, not just once a year when I come, but it's to be taken from time to time. Just go open somewhere and then, and then think, okay, I'm going to practice this for a week or something like that. Or me, is usually I look at it and say, oh yeah, I'm still not doing this. Yeah, just to remind ourselves, this is what we want. So it's the text that I think from this text there's probably the most English translations and also others. Yeah, everybody gets a go at this. Many people get a go at this. Like I know at least 5 or 6 English. I know that there is 5 or 6 English translations. Sometimes I compare them with each other, which is very good. Also very good is because I speak a few languages. It's very good to compare English translation, German translation, French, Italian translation. So it's quite interesting to see how the culture seeps in also. Yeah, even just in Europe, yeah, that they interpret this in a different way. It's very interesting to see. So also talking about culture, like Buddhism has, all the Buddhisms that have come from the East to the West have a lot of culture that goes with it. What is behind me, that is most of it culture. But it's joyful. It is joyful to build an altar. Yeah? And we do everything to make the mind joyful. This is what it's for. The Buddha, whether we put an altar or not, he doesn't care. It's for us. Because we show our devotion, our joy, our enthusiasm of having these methods. And that creates the positive karma. Not because the Buddha says, oh yeah, you're good people. I give you some, how they get in the school, they get little stars when they are very good, these stars. Okay. So the Buddha is not giving us any stars. He loves us unconditionally, whether you're a Buddhist, not a Buddhist. He sees that we're suffering. So the mind of a Buddha is like somebody's mind who sees somebody sleeping in a nightmare. Not panicking, because he knows the suffering is not real. But knowing that this person needs to wake up in order to stop the suffering. So doing everything to wake the person up, not to change the dream of the person. So what we're doing, we want to change our dreams, but we don't want to wake up. So this is why the Buddhas, most of them, they look very peaceful, because they know all the suffering that we have is just imagined. It's just a dream. So all we need to do is wake up. And we can see the difference of compassion when you look at somebody who screams in a nightmare. You have compassion for this person. But it's very calm and peaceful compassion. Because even if it's difficult to wake them up, it's not real. They suffer, so you're not happy, because it's not real. Whereas you see somebody with a broken fracture, you freak out, because that becomes real. Yeah? So it's totally, the first compassion is very good compassion, because it's calm, it's peaceful, it knows what to do. They only need to wake up. The other, if you're a doctor, of course, then you don't freak out. It's different, but we do have a doctor. But not many people are doctors. So, like, I saw somebody once with an open fracture in India, and I brought her down to the hospital. I was probably more nervous than she was. I was like not knowing what to do. You don't know what these doctors are doing. It was in the foot. Yeah, she fell down like if that's the foot, there was a hole here, and the bone was sticking up. You know what the Indian doctor did? Without any, I think he didn't even have gloves on. He went in with the finger to see what, she was still sitting in the taxi. He went in with the finger to see what was going on in here, without gloves, without anesthetic, without anything. That's India for you. And then you had to operate, and then the operation table was like, there was the garbage bin, and in the bin on the bottom there were still these cotton wads full of blood, and sticking to the waste paper bin, and like this. And the table was rusty and dirty. Dharamsala, the zonal hospital. So I tell you, I was in a really bad state. My compassion was fluttering because she was then sedated, and actually she had to wait 3-4 days to be operated. So they just put a big bandage around her. She went to the toilet, and because the Indians don't shit into the toilet because they think it's dirty. So they shit outside the toilet because they usually go to the field. So she slipped on one of these cacos and and opened the foot again, and like this. So you see, wanting to help when you don't know how to help. And I can't tell these doctors, hey, this is not right, because I don't know, maybe it is right, I don't know. Yeah, so that was my kind of compassion, idiot compassion, that I helped her, and it's good that I was with her and brought her food and I had to buy everything they needed for the operation. I had to go buy at the chemist. Well, if you're in India and you're sick and you don't have anybody looking after you, you die. They don't bring you food. They don't, you have to go buy the medicine. This is India. Not the private hospitals, of course, but the hospital for the common people. This is why, in case you are planning to go to India, go to the hospital from time to time and go and see if there's some Westerners lying around that, all the friends have gone on. Sometimes I found these people in Manali, for example, and then also I couldn't do much, but at least I went to buy them good food, so from time to time they have good food. Yeah. They're just being left there. Whereas if I would have known that this person is just dreaming her open fracture, I would have been much more calm. But it's very difficult to understand, isn't it, that this open fracture is not real. So it's not a total dream, but it's just like a dream. It's just protected by the mind. So with an open fracture, it's very, very difficult to understand. And you still have to react, yeah. But when it's like other things, we can see how we project, how we have different realities. Like, hey, look at the elections now. There's like these different parties. All of them have totally different realities. Yeah. So and everybody thinks they're right. So which one is right? The left, of course. Yeah, none of them is right. This is what I mean. So it's difficult what the Buddha means. It's difficult to grasp. But slowly, also you familiarize your mind with this. When you are walking around, say, just my mind perceiving it like that, or just like a dream. Yeah? Slowly, it loses its being so serious and heavy and this and that. So, but it takes time. And it's training. So the whole Buddhist path is one big training, and this is why it's good also to have good rest. So I let you go to sleep. We are in silence. If possible, do they still need to arrange things, or is everything arranged?
Yes.
Yeah? Everything is arranged? Everybody thinks they still have questions or need something, or everything is good. I would suggest, because the group is very small, and for the milks, that the milk continuously is in the fridge. And if you need milk, then, so we have cow milk and we have vegetable milk. The cow milk, we said, no, we're not going to offer it anymore. But I do understand the argument, because I said, just tell people to bring their own milk. if they want cow milk. But then everybody brings a liter of cow milk and they don't want to take it home, then they leave it here. So we use actually more cow milk than if we just buy 1 liter. Okay. So if you don't need it, then just leave it. And there's oat milk and there's rice milk. And also that, I mean, don't just drink the whole liter. It's like, I think milk is anyway. So if you want coffee and tea, it's fine, but just it's too heavy, isn't it? We only have one, I only bought 1 liter each, so I think for that small group should be enough. But in order for it not to go bad, then just, it's in the fridge, go in the fridge. I also ask people, bring your own cups, if possible, also for the next retreats, because even though it's paper cups, they still have plastic around them, and it's paper. I mean, paper comes from trees, and trees make oxygen, by the way. You know, we talked about how long can you stay without dying, or, you know, why are we living? Why? Because we can breathe. Why can we breathe? Because the plants change the CO2 into oxygen. The trees especially, they gather all this nasty stuff and then it goes and they transform it. So who in their right mind would harm trees? When we know how dependent we are on them. Just to build another shopping center, which is absolutely not necessary. So that's what I mean. So when you look at the tree and say, well, thank you very much. So every time we use also paper, you know, this is the thing. It's like, it's not all paper is okay. They cut trees in order to make paper. So if you can bring your own cup, or if you take paper cup, I mean, it's fine. But use the same one as long as it's still usable, please. Because we all have a responsibility, I think. You know, we can't just go on climate demonstrations and clean and shout. We also have to be a big example. If you can separate the waste, also separate it, that would be great. And you know, plastic to plastic and paper to paper. I think it's out there somewhere on the containers, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, don't be. Also, this is chapter 4 and 5. Be mindful, be aware. Yeah. So, and then the big task is, if you are separating your garbage from your food, like really, not to get angry at those who don't. That is then the big thing. That's then the Bodhisattva activity, training. You know, I do it, then if they come and ask me, oh, how do you do it? It's a good thing. I tell them. If they don't ask, I'm not saying anything. Then you can see how advanced you are. Yeah. When there's like, when you open the orange bin. Have you ever opened an orange bin and looked what is inside? Oh, the orange bins in Tel Aviv is for containers. And it's very clear, even I don't speak Hebrew, I understand what goes in there. You know, tins and the containers of milk. And it is drawings. Not the plastic bottles. Not those.
No, not those.
Not those.
No, even those big ones.
But if you look what's inside, all kinds of stuff. Paper, this, as if it's an ordinary rubbish bin. And you're all intelligent people. I mean, what the heck are you doing? What do you think these bins are for? Why do you think there's drawings on it? I hope you have a bad conscience now. I'm a bit of an environmental kind of activist. I don't know how to say that. But anyway, because I'm from Switzerland, and it works. You see, at the beginning when I was a kid, also it didn't work so well because we didn't have so much, but we learned not to leave anything in nature. This is what we learned. You go for a picnic, you take the garbage home with you, and that's it. So it becomes a habit. Yeah? Then the recycling started. And it started, also at the beginning it didn't work. People just put anything there, but now it works after 30, 20, 30, 40 years. It works. So you have to be patient and just start doing it. Then also the authorities, they see it's worthwhile to make these plants with the recycling and all this. But if the orange bin, if they have to sort it out when it comes, I mean, who would want to do that? Yeah. we can help Mother Nature a little bit by being aware of your cup and this and that, not so much plastic. You can go, I go to do the market with the bags. I don't want the plastic bag. Sometimes I need to say 3 or 4 times, I don't want the bag. And so then now I always go to the same guy, so he understands I don't want the bag. And he thinks it's a good idea. Yeah. But still he reaches out to put the things. I have a bag and he wants to put in the plastic. Anyway, so thank you very much. So means the silence start now. So like at the end of every teaching, we usually dedicate all the positive energy that we have been creating with each other. This evening, listening a little bit to the Buddhist path, a little bit what bodhicitta is. If you do have questions, then you are always welcome to write them on a piece of paper and then put it there in the container. Is it hanging somewhere? Yeah. And then in the evening I will answer them. It's easier than if you ask in the middle. But you can ask whatever you want to ask. That's fine. If you're here for the first time, then also please don't put yourself under pressure that you have to understand everything. It is a complicated path because it's a path that will lead us to a state which is totally free from all suffering and where we're not under the control of negative emotions anymore. So how can that be easy? If it would be easy, everybody would be liberated. And so like that. But we do dedicate all the positive energy we have created together so that we understand this path very, very quickly. We have enough enthusiasm, time, conditions, interest to practice it, liberate ourselves from suffering and the causes of suffering, and then be able to benefit all sentient beings. Whoever comes in touch with me, whoever sees me, whoever thinks about me, whoever hears me, even whoever smells me, may it only be of benefit.